Sports Talker Nation, welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our 2016 NFL Draft Review. Today we're going to talk about those Pittsburgh Steelers, or as some of my friends up in the area like to call them, Sitsburg, and the City of Champions, and all those other obnoxious terms that, quite frankly, are true. They're a great organization. They're fun to root for. I love their offense. I love their coach, although he did some stupid things with two-point conversions and otherwise this year. I think Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think Todd Haley finally has his legs under him, and I think he's an excellent offensive coordinator. He needs to stay away from being a head coach. I don't think he can do that, but I think he's a very good offensive coordinator. They needed defensive help, and they went after it in the draft. I don't necessarily agree with the players, but much like the Giants and the Ravens, I think that the Steelers organization knows how to pick talent, so let's see how they did. They went with Artie Burns in the first round. He's a guy from the U that I don't care for. He's not your typical University of Miami. People think Miami, they think little and fast. He's not that. He's not slow, but he's a bigger guy. He played with his hands a little bit too much for me. I worry he's going to have some penalty problems in the NFL, but he's a little bit bigger, so he can match up with more physical receivers. I just never thought that his production was strong enough. Sean Davis, a cornerback in the second round, again, I understand the need, and I understand that he can help in his size. Maybe they're trying to get bigger in general because their receivers are so big. They know that that's a trend. I just don't know that Sean Davis has the requisite speed or skill set to be a starter or a star moving forward. But listen, I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Jason Hargrave in the third round, another guy. Defensive tackle, not sure what his long-term upside is. So their first three picks I really didn't like, but it's tough for me to get too hard on Pittsburgh because they just know what they're doing. I do like their fourth-round pick. I like Gerald Hawkins quite a bit. Pittsburgh seems to be a team that is always in need of offensive tackles. They got one in Hawkins. And I think long-term, you could have gotten your left tackle in the fourth round, Gerald Hawkins. I think he can really help. I think he's strong enough to be at the point of attack and quick enough feet to get on the outside pass rusher. Didn't have a fifth-round draft pick. Travis Feeney in the sixth round is outside linebacker. Not much to say about Feeney. I love what they did in the seventh round, and it actually helped raise their draft status in my eyes from probably in that C minus range to a B minus. They took DeMarcus Ayers. Now, taken earlier in the draft, I would worry about him. But late in the draft, he has some drop problems. He reminds me very much of Martavis Bryant. Has some drop problems, but he is a game breaker. He's fast. He's strong. When he gets the ball in his hands, he is dangerous as hell. I think he's going to step right in, along with Wheaton, and try to replace Bryant. And I think he's going to do a good job. And, of course, close to my heart, Tyler Matakevich. I don't know why this guy got screwed or why teams can't see how good a player this guy was. But I know that every coach who lies and says it's not about measurables, it's about heart, and it's about skill and how production on the field, they're all freaking liars. Because Tyler Matakevich was one of the most accomplished linebackers in college. He started as a freshman, played 4 years, was always around the ball by the last year despite a lack of foot speed, and he still went with one of the last picks in the draft. He will absolutely make that team. He will probably be a long-term starter, but at the very least, he's going to be a core special teams guy, and I absolutely love what they did. I hope the kid does well. I can root for him in Pittsburgh because I don't have an axe to grind with Pittsburgh like I do with Dallas, where I can't root for the Jalen Smiths of the world. That being said, I don't love their draft, but I do think they got some late-round value, and they did address the offensive line and cornerback. So if they trust their player evaluations, who am I to disagree? I put them in that B-minus range. I do think both Matakevich and Ayers are good value picks, as well as Hawkins. I think Burns and Davis are both potential reaches, not what you want from your first-round picks, but I do think that they have a chance to be excellent players. So with that 2016 team-by-team review of your Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.